If you remember the Las Vegas of old, the days of the $2.99 steak buffets, the clatter of silver dollars from the slot machines, and a genuine belief that Lady Luck was just around the corner, then you probably sense that something has changed. It's more than just new buildings or different headliners. A deep fracture is forming, a quiet division running to the heart of the city, asking the question, is Vegas even worth it anymore? As one dealer, a 30-year veteran, told me, this town doesn't even recognize itself anymore. This is a story of two Las Vegases, one for the ultra-wealthy, and one that's still trying to keep the old promise alive. But just how far has this divide gone? And why is the glitzy, tourist-focused business model of the Strip on a failing trajectory? If you want to understand how Las Vegas is changing and how to protect your wallet on your next trip, consider subscribing so you don't miss our deeper analyses. The promise of Las Vegas used to be simple. Deliver world-class luxury and entertainment at a price the average person could afford. That promise is being broken, piece by piece. Let's count down the 5 ways the Strip is betraying the very visitors who made it famous. Reason number 5, parking fees. The first slap in the face to hospitality. Once a free convenience, a welcoming gesture, parking at the major resorts on the Strip can now cost you $20 to $25 a day, and even up to $40 for valet at MGM properties. One visitor from Canada shared, "We drove for 10 hours, and the first thing that greeted us wasn't the neon lights, but a $25 bill just to park. It feels like they're penalizing you just for showing up. It may seem like a small fee, but it's the first signal that you're no longer a valued guest, but a revenue stream to be tapped. But if you think parking fees are outrageous, wait until you see the mandatory charge the hotels hide in your bill." Reason number 4, resort fees. The deception in your room rate. This is the infamous resort fee, a mandatory nightly charge at most hotels on the Strip, typically ranging from $45 to $55 plus tax. Hotels advertise an attractive room rate to lure you in, then quietly add this fee to your final bill for things like Wi-Fi and pool access. A young couple from Ohio, celebrating their 5th anniversary, recounted, "We saved up for this trip, thought we found a great deal, but the resort fee, nearly $150, blew our food budget. It felt terrible, like we've been deceived." This isn't just an extra charge. It completely changes the budget of a trip. And the nickel and diming doesn't stop at the hotel door. It's creeping into the very games that made Vegas famous. Reason number 3, the unfair hand. Step onto the casino floor. The 6:5 payout for blackjack has become common on the Strip, replacing the fairer, traditional 3:2 standard. This means on a $10 bet, you now win only $12 instead of $15. A bartender with 20 years of experience on the Strip confided, "I see it every night. Regular folks sit down, hoping for a fun evening, and their money just vanishes faster than ever. They can't play for hours on $100 anymore. Now, that same money might last 45 minutes. The fun has been replaced by a cold transaction. At the same time, minimum bets have been pushed so high that finding a table under $25 has become a nearly impossible task." It's a clear message. Players on a modest budget are no longer welcome here. I want to ask this quickly. Have you personally ever felt unwelcome at the Strip casinos because of these changes? Share your experience in the comments below. I'd really like to hear your story. Reason number 2, the decline of the everyday tourist. All of these added costs are having an inevitable effect. Data from the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, LVCVA, shows that visitor volume to Las Vegas in 2025 dropped by 7.5% compared to 2024, down to 38.5 million people, the lowest since the city's post-pandemic recovery. Average hotel occupancy on the Strip also fell by 3.3 percentage points. These numbers are the voice of that couple from Ohio and the visitor from Canada, people who feel betrayed and priced out. The numbers don't lie. The average tourist is walking away. So why do the casinos seem to care? That brings us to our final and most crucial reason. Reason number 1, the ultimate gamble, catering only to the rich. Here's the stark truth. The Strip's business model has shifted from attracting the masses to extracting maximum revenue from a small group of wealthy customers and massive conventions. A front desk employee at a luxury hotel who wished to remain anonymous shared, "Our mission has changed. We're trained to focus on the whales and the big spending convention attendees. A family looking for a fun vacation on a budget? Honestly, they're just not the priority anymore. This isn't the Las Vegas I started working in." Convention attendance in 2025 remained nearly flat, which helped stabilize revenue. Ironically, despite fewer visitors, gaming revenue on the Strip in 2025 still hit a record of nearly $8.8 billion. The casinos are succeeding at making more money from fewer people. They're betting that the super rich will make up for the millions of other visitors they're driving away. So, as the Strip pushes away its most loyal customers, where are they going? The answer might surprise you, and it's happening just a few miles away. While the Strip struggles with high costs and alienates its visitors, a completely different story is unfolding in the surrounding areas. The casinos that cater to local residents, like those from Red Rock Resorts and Boyd Gaming, are entering their own golden age. They are offering exactly what the Strip has abandoned: genuine value. Let's do a direct comparison. On the Strip, you pay up to $25 a day for parking. At locals casinos like Red Rock, South Point, or the new Durango Resort, parking is almost always free. On the Strip, 6:5 blackjack tables are the standard. At locals casino, a retired schoolteacher and regular customer told me, "Here, I can still find a $10 3:2 table. They know my name. I feel appreciated, not like an ATM." But the difference doesn't end at the casino floor. The locals casinos have become true community hubs. Inside these resorts, you'll find modern movie theaters, bowling alleys, and affordable concert venues, instead of focusing only on expensive nightclubs. The new Durango Resort, for instance, has quickly become an entertainment hotspot, hosting poolside concerts that draw in both locals and tourists looking to escape the stuffiness of the Strip. Ambience is another differentiator. The locals casinos feel more relaxed and spacious. This is a deliberate strategy. Create a comfortable environment that makes customers want to return. The experience is designed for repeat business, not for a one-and-done tourist stream. But how is this seemingly old-fashioned strategy succeeding so well? The success of the locals market is no accident. It stems from a business strategy that is the polar opposite of the Strips. Companies like Station Casinos, the parent of Red Rock Resorts, pioneered the model of building casinos where people live. Instead of building one giant tourist destination and pulling people to it, they build smaller, more accessible properties right in growing residential neighborhoods. This strategy has proven to be incredibly resilient. Historically, the locals casino market has always been more stable during economic downturns. Recent data reinforces this. While gaming revenue on the Strip was nearly flat, areas with a high concentration of locals casinos, like the Boulder Strip in North Las Vegas, have seen significant growth. Station Casinos recently reported one of the best quarters in its nearly 50-year history, thanks in large part to the support of local residents. Boyd Gaming also reported strong results at its local properties. The driving force? The loyalty of local residents who feel respected. The Durango Resort is a living testament to the power of this model. Built with a philosophy of approachable luxury, reports indicate it has quickly captured a huge base of local customers who are looking for a high-quality experience without the fees and frustrations that the couple from Ohio face on the Strip. The truth is, two entirely separate markets have formed in Las Vegas. One is the Strip, with its skyrocketing costs and focus on flashy events. The other is the booming locals market, built on value and customer loyalty. The battle for the soul of Las Vegas is being fought, not between resorts, but between two opposing business philosophies. One side is maximizing revenue at all costs, to the dismay of longtime employees like that 20-year bartender. The other is building community loyalty, where regulars like the retired teacher feel at home. The Strip may still have the glitz, but the real growth and genuine value, the soul of the old Vegas, is now being found elsewhere. So, which choice is right for you? If you want to learn more about the fantastic alternatives off the Strip, check out my next video, where I'll review the 5 best locals casinos for anyone who wants a true Las Vegas experience. And if you found this video helpful, subscribing to the channel will make sure you don't miss similar advice in the future.